Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2, so here we go.
And there it is. Try it yourself, a watercolour painting, but don't forget, let all the bits dry before you move on to the next bit and keep the paint in control.
Hip-hoo.
Take a look at this picture. There's something missing. Watch this. That's better. A shadow. And that's a good tip to remember. Put shadows into your pictures and make them look more realistic. For a start, it makes things look as if they're standing firmly on the ground instead of floating around in mid-air. Now, take a look at this girl. She looks as if she's floating around in mid-air at the moment, but a quick squiggle shadow, and now her feet are planted very firmly on the ground. Of course, if you do want things to float around in mid-air, like this girl, then it's just a case of drawing the shadow some distance away from the bottom of the object, or in her case, from her feet, and now she's flying around in mid-air. Now, when you are drawing shadows, you have to decide which direction to draw them in. And here's another good tip. Shadows are cast away from the light. I'll show you what I mean. Just take a look at these balls. Now, this ball here on the left, let's pretend the light is coming from above the ball from, say, the sun, or a lamp, or a bulb, and it's shining down in this direction, so the shadow will be cast away from the light, so the ball's shadow will be underneath the ball. Now, the light is shining on this ball in this direction, so this ball's shadow will be cast away from the light in this direction. Now, let's try this ball. Let's put the sun up here this time, and again, it shines in that direction, so again, the ball's shadow is cast away from the light. Now, I'm just going to draw a little lamp down here, little light bulb in there next to this ball, and if I shine the light in this direction, then this ball's shadow is cast in this direction, but because that lamp is quite low to the ground, the shadow is very long, and that's why your shadows are long at the end of the day when the sun is going down and it's very low in the sky. So, okay, let's put some shadows into these cartoons. Now, here's Nick. He's taking his dog for a walk at night. The lamp is shining down in this direction, so Nick's shadow will be cast in that direction, and so will the dog's. Suddenly, they hear a noise from down the alleyway. Nick shines his torch down the alleyway, and it's only a cat. But Nick's torch is quite low to the ground, so the cat's shadow is cast away from the light in this direction, and it's a very long shadow. And not only does it go across the ground, but it's so long, it goes up the wall. And don't forget, shadows go up things as well as across the ground. Now, Nick's dog hates cats, so it goes zooming off after the cat. Nick is tugged along by the lead, and he goes flying through the air. So his shadow is still cast in this direction because of the lamp, but his shadow is no longer touching his feet because he's flying through the air. And look at that, he's left the ground. So the dog goes off in pursuit of the cat. Nick is dragged along. Now, you've got the moonlight up here shining down on the dog, so the dog's shadow is cast in this direction. And because Nick is still flying through the air, let's do his shadow away from his body. There he is, still flying through the air. Eventually, they catch up with the cat, and Nick's dog pins the cat up against the wall, shines Nick's torch on the cat, and again, because the torch is very low to the ground, the cat's shadow is very long. But the cat is now leaning right up against the wall, so the shadow goes up the wall, but it's still a long shadow. Now, the cat begs for mercy, offers the dog a sweet, and because he's a greedy dog, he accepts the sweet. And don't worry, it's a happy ending because they become great friends. In fact, they become such good friends that they start to take moonlit walks together. And there's the moon. It's really low in the sky, so the shadows are nice and long, and they're going off in this direction, away from the light. Try it yourself. Make your drawings a lot more realistic and put shadows in them. Yeah, I really enjoy doing that tip about shadows. Well, next up, I've got 4 brilliant things for you to make from bits and bobs lying about the house. Let's start with a great trick to turn this into this. Take a look at this. How do you create a picture that looks 3D? Make a 3D see-through picture. Look at that. And believe it or not, it's made from 3 separate see-through pictures. come and have a look at this. Now I'm going to start by showing you how to make one see-through picture. Take a piece of cardboard that you've cut from the side of a cardboard box and place an A4 size piece of paper on top of the cardboard and draw all the way around the paper so that you've got the shape of the paper on your cardboard. Then take a ruler and place it underneath the top line of your A4 shape and draw a line underneath the ruler like that, and then place the ruler down that side edge and again draw another line along the inside edge like that, and do the same all the way around, placing your ruler inside the original line that you drew and draw another line inside the ruler like that. So you have a frame shape that is A4 sized and is a ruler thick, and then cut it out so you have something that looks like that. And then do the same thing again. You need two of these frame shapes, and then take some glue and just smear the glue all around your frame shape. Now it's very important that you smooth this glue on nice and evenly. You could use PVA glue for this. I'm just doing it really quickly to show you, but you can take your time over it. And then take some cling film and take the cling film out of the box like this. And this is the good bit. Just very carefully place it on one side of the frame like this, and then roll the cling film out into the glue across the frame like that. Press it down into the glue and then just snip off the excess cling film. And the good thing is you don't need to use much cling film for this. And then the tricky bit, very gently smooth all of those creases and wrinkles out of the cling film just by gently pressing on the frame and just stretching the cling film out like that. And then put it to one side and take your other frame and do exactly the same. Smear the glue on, PVA or glue stick, and put it on nice and evenly. As usual, I'm rushing these things just to show you. And then take your cling film frame, very careful, I don't want to put my finger through it, and just pop your other frame on top, press it down to sandwich the cling film between the two cardboard frames like this, and then leave it to one side to dry. And it's a very good idea to put books all the way around the frame to press it down really firmly and sandwich that cling film. And when it's dry, cut off the excess cling film from around the edges, but while you're waiting for it to dry, draw the design for your picture. You can practice it on your A4 piece of paper, and it's a good idea to do a very simple picture, just a cartoon image, nothing too fancy. And see what I've done here, the reason I'm using the paper is I've made a few mistakes, so you can alter those mistakes. It doesn't matter, because what you're going to do is when your cling film frame is dry, you place it over the paper and trace the image onto the cling film. Now you need permanent markers for this. I'll tell you what else will work. You're not going to believe this. A ballpoint pen. But you have to be very careful that you don't pierce the cling film, and just very carefully do your image. I'm just going to again go around the shapes just to show you. I'm not going to put too much detail in at this stage.
Are you guys doing this?
Because
I am.
I'm going to paint it in a minute.
Now,
and then we can put the detail in afterwards. So get the basic shapes on there.
Well, this is the 10th out of 10 VHS video that I reacted to. There are 14. That's right, 14 out of 10
and when you
videos.
Put the basic shapes in, then just decorate the frame. Give it a good old wood finish.
I've only got
so what I'm
4 more
you've seen me do this many times before.
I'm videos to react to.
Some wispy lines on the frame, just to give it a wood grain finish.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is to react to the remaining ones.
A few more wispy lines down here.
And then start reacting to episodes again. And I don't know how many other episodes there are on YouTube.
And very easy to create a really woody effect.
We'll see.
And when you've got your wooden frame, hold it together by banging in some nails, not with a hammer.
But I know my RTK reaction videos will continue.
Just going to draw in.
Same goes for
some nails around the edges of the frame there.
Bunny.
And you can get this same effect
Fighter Keepers.
if you just use an ordinary
I mean,
pencil.
Bisman Prime.
And then
and other ones as well.
Your picture. Now I've only done the outline, so I'm going to paint it and then put the detail on. Paint it using acrylic paint or poster paint. But poster paint won't stick to your cling film unless you mix
And
it with
to
a
be
bit
honest
of
with
washing
you,
up liquid.
guys,
Tip that.
I have been reacting
some washing
to
up liquid here,
like
and now I'm just going to very
Arthur
carefully
Tay,
paint it onto the
Barney,
cling film.
and Funny
Right on
Keepers
there.
for
A lot
almost
of
2
paint on the
years.
brush. And you
I
paint the
reacted
whole of your
to-
picture in the same way.
Well, I've been reacting
Painted it.
to
You
like
have something
Arthur
looks
Tay
like
and Barney since
this. Look at that.
September
Just remove
2020, and
picture.
Funny Keepers
There it is. A
since
see-through
October
picture.
2020.
And if you want to make a 3D see-through picture, it's simple. You make 3 of them. There's one. And just put the other one on top of it. There's 2. And finally, there's the 3rd one. And if you just stick them together with sticky tack, you can even move them around and slot them in and out of each other to create a different picture each time. And the more cardboard boxes you get and the more cardboard you cut out, you can just keep adding more and more pictures until you have a 3D see-through picture. Do you have any secret notes or photos or private letters that you want to hide? What you need is a secret file to keep them in. And where are they? Well, they're not in here. Actually, they're in here, in a secret compartment. Look at that.
Ooh.
Come and have a look at this. Take 2 A4 size pieces of paper and place them onto a good stiff piece of cardboard box card, draw around them and then cut those out so you have 2 A4 size pieces of cardboard. Then take one of them and one of your pieces of paper, place your paper on top of your cardboard like that and then tape it to the cardboard. Now, it's very important that you only tape it down 3 edges, the top edge, the side edge and the bottom edge. And the way to tape it is just put your tape on lengthways like that and just tuck it over around the edge of the cardboard. It can be a bit fiddly to do, so take your time and do it in small pieces of tape at a time. But when you've done 3 edges, the top, 1 edge and the side, you will have a paper pocket that opens down one of the long edges like that. Then place your pocket down and take some PVA glue, mix it in equal parts with water, or PVA school glue, and slop it onto the front of your paper and card pocket and just simply paste some newspaper onto the front, just little strips of newspaper. Now, it doesn't matter if it's not very neat, because if you get wrinkles in that newspaper like that, perfect. It gives your secret file a nice wrinkly leather effect. I'm just slopping this on here. You don't need to be neat with it, but whatever you do, don't glue up that side open pocket. Do both sides of your paper and card pocket, and when you've finished, you will have a nice wrinkly pocket that's nice and stiff. And again, I'll say it, whatever you do, don't paste over that open edge. And then
I'm
take some
getting